Greetings, dear friends. My name is Pavel, I'm a music composer and producer, and I'm here to talk a little about how the music of Stoneshard was made. Stoneshard has been a pretty long adventure for me and the team, and during the development process, music direction has changed a few times maybe. However, I never wanted the soundtrack that sounds like a typical medieval fantasy RPG game soundtrack, Moreover, the game itself, it's not, a typical medieval fantasy RPG adventure. The setting is quite dark and, the gameplay process is pretty hardcore. And as a main reference, I choose a soundtrack to the Guy Ritchie movie called King Arthur, The Legend of the Sword, composed by Daniel Pemberton, with all those, raw and unpolished sounding. And a very big goal for me was to capture the feeling that, some musicians from the game's world are just, playing on their self-made broken instrument. This can be heard especially well in the theme like the shards, which is sort of, my own vision of main theme of the game. I used a lot of ethnic instruments in this soundtrack, such as, banjo, bouzouki, and one of my favorite instruments called hammered dulcimer. Some guitars, and more. Also, one of the most important parts of the soundtrack's DNA was the bow-sounding instruments, I tried to play everything in my studio just with the bow. And even the cello doesn't sound like, a typical cello. It's more like some ancient bowed instrument, some kind of maybe Scandinavian bowed instrument. In some places I used the sound of huge strings and brass sections, to emphasize the scale of the game's world, and also the boss battles. We didn't use a live orchestra in this recording, but I've tried to make samples, very close to the real thing. And, this is the word about all those amazing, sampling and synthesis technologies that we have today. The technological side of the Stoneshard soundtrack is also very, very, very strong. You can hear it on some combat tracks, with all these crazy manipulations that were done with live recordings and samples. So this is what the dying world of Stoneshard should sound like.